Good people out there, welcome to our international podcast Below the Belt. We trust that you guys are well. It's raining at our end and there is blackout as well. So we got our little phone light in the studio here and just trying to make do. Just trying to make do. How are you folks doing out there? Welcome to our international podcast Below the Belt. Do let us know, Pretty Melissa and Claude Bobby Lewis, Joy Hopkins, if you're hearing us clearly. Gail Ali Crock, is you there, Gail? Is you? Great to have each and every one of you on the live today. Ryan Jones, we see you. Siobhan McDonald, Edward Brooms. Good to have you folks. Where's Edward Gonzalez from the Bronx? Where's Candy Lynn, Indigit, Beatrice Selby, Lynn Williams, Lynn Fernandez? Where are you folks? Good to have you. Shawnette Blackman is here. We appreciate Shawnette. We appreciate your company. Magnell Barrow is here. Magnell says it's 37 degrees in Brooklyn. Magnell. How are you folks doing? How are you folks? I'm due for a visit in the diaspora. Due for a visit. Right. Let me know if anyone of you got a spare room. I want to be in Brooklyn. I want to be in Queens. Let me know who got spare room. Please and thank you. Let me know who got a spare room or a spare house or a spare apartment. Right. I'm due for a visit in the diaspora. Due for a visit in the diaspora. No kidding, folks. Let me know if you got a spare room, you got a spare basement, you got a spare apartment. Let me know what's happening, folks. Gotta go and get some things done. Gotta go and refire, reinvigorate, rejuvenate in that 37 degrees weather that Magnell is talking about there. Joy Hopkinson, how are you doing, Joy? Guyana nowadays, Terrence. Guys, are you hearing me? Do let us know if you hear me loud and clear. Do let us know. Joy says loud and clear. Technician Joy says loud and clear. Technician Joy says loud and clear. Guys, we're happy to have you here with us. It's blackout at our end. And not only is there blackout, it's raining outside. It's raining cats and dogs. But we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta persevere, folks. We gotta persevere. Debbie Collins, we got to persevere in spite of. Marla says she's hearing clearly. Debbie Collins says loud and clear. Desmond Harris says loud and clear. Thank you, Desmond, and all the other folks. We are running the podcast on minimal resources because it's blackout. And we on some backup power. We don't want to trip it out in any way. So we had to turn off all unnecessary devices. Yeah. This is Guyana 2023. Blackout in we skin. You know, people don't like hear this. Simone Williams and Shannon Blackman, Silbert Stewart. They don't like hear, right? But under the last administration, you see, we were going somewhere with this blackout. We were going somewhere. I love what Tommy Gibbs says. Tommy says, no basement for you, Sherrod. Only the PPP supporters live in the basement. I can take that. Tommy Gibbs, I can take that. Only the PPP supporters, he says, live in the basement. Live and dwell. Hazelyn King, good to have you here on the live. Siobhan McDonald is hearing us clearly all the way in Jersey. All the way in New Jersey. Can you believe that? Lord have mercy. Carol Jacob says, blackout in Little Dubai. You know, I'm so tempted to turn on, to put a camera on, so you can see how I'm operating here. Minimal resources. I got a little stand to what do you call this? a selfie stick that has a stand at one end that has my camera in with a little with the torchlight on for the camera. The camera light is on, so I can see my notes here, and we on enough backup just to allow the router to go. So we have what do you call it? We have internet. Yep, Little Dubai, life in Little Dubai, life in Little Dubai. What I can tell you, Gilali Cock says it's loud and clear. Hazeline and Chami. Yep. Born and growing blackout. Still here fighting with it. Fighting with the blackout, the breakout. Carol says Little Dubai. Yes, Little Dubai. Little Dubai. We trust that you guys are great. Folks, we're covering a couple of things. At this hour, it's 30 minutes after lunch. And we trust that you guys are great. We trust that lunch has been kind to you folks. For your consideration. Well, look story here now. Look story here. Look story here. Rupert Murdoch, you know, the media mogul. Rupert is getting married for the 5th time. Rupert is the marrying kind. For the 5th time, he's getting married at 92. At 92. Rupert Murdoch says that I knew this would be my last marriage. Edward, Tommy, Yvette, Juna. He said, no, this is going to be my last marriage. That's what he says. Rupert is a multi-billionaire, has a lot of media interest in the UK and in the US. And he's getting married to Anne Leslie Smith. Anne Leslie Smith, the young lady, 66. And they met in September of 2022. They're getting married. You see, some of you had a couple of scrapes in relationships. You're not ready to give up. You're done ready to give up. Rupert is 92 years young. Where you going? You better go to the back of the line and behave yourself. You better go to the back of the line and behave yourself and sit down. You give up. You're done with women. You're done with men. Stop it. Stop that. Go and sit down and behave yourself. Right. Rupert is 92 and Rupert is ready to give it a 5th try. You had one little boyfriend in high school, one serious boyfriend since you left high school. And you're ready to throw in the towel and write the eulogy on your relationships. And all at 92, we put out here swinging. All at 92, we put out here swinging. I see Tommy Gibbs says the blue pill can't help Rupert. Tommy, sometimes you know Rupert's skills. Sometimes Rupert got game. You know Rupert's skills. 92. Rupert's girlfriend is 66. You see that? You see where you get money in this life? Eh? That's why I don't envy people who making the money, you know, because when I start making my money, Marvel shots, don't come wrong with funny. Don't come wrong with funny. Don't do it. So we wish Rupert and Mary Jane, media mogul Rupert Murdoch, we wish him and Leslie Smith, wish them the best. Sometimes the 5th time is the charm. Sometimes not the 3rd. Sometimes it's the 5th time. right? One of the newspapers Rupert Murdoch owns is the New York Post. I think he also owns the Sun um, in the UK, among other media interests. Right? He says, I was very nervous. I dreaded falling in love, but I knew this would be my last. You see? Rupert want nice time too. Everybody want a little peace, a little love, acceptance. You know the drill. He said, I knew this will be my last. He said, it better be. I'm happy. I'm happy. That's what he said. Well, we wish, and Leslie Smith and Rupert, we wish them the best. That's all we can do. We don't have the money to compete with them. So all we got to do is wish them the best. And really and truly, we wish them the best. All the billions and all. Tommy Gibbs says he owns Fox News as well. Correct. Fox News owner Rupert Murdoch, 92. Going down the line. All right. Marvel Schultz says there's a parable. A man is as old as he feels. A man is as old as he feels. She says Rupert has an excellent policy. Sparrow says age is just a number. Ability lasts a long time. I'd have you know. I would have you know. That's one of my favorite songs. Age is just a number. Moving on, folks. Issues closer to home. Issues closer to home that we're tracking. Senior Counsel Stephen Fraser refutes fraud claims by Justice Sandil Kisoon. See? Refutes, and this is a quite interesting case. Quite an interesting case. It says here that attorney Stephen Kisoon, and I'm picking this up out of this Stabrook News. Stephen Fraser, senior counsel, is rejecting a judge's finding that he committed fraud on the court in relation to a land case. The declaration was made by Justice Sandil Kisoon March 14th, when he threw out a case which Fraser had presented on behalf of his client, Deborah De Silva de Santos. The judge also removed De Santos as the executrix in relation to the land in question. And Fraser was responding to Stabrook News in relation to the ruling, providing a statement. Hear what Fraser said in the statement. Remember, there's alleged fraud. The judge said, Sandil Kisoon, that Fraser was fraudulent. Folks, those aren't easy charges as a senior counsel. As you can imagine, Gloria Wilson. They aren't easy charges. In the statement, Fraser said, we are of the view that Justice Kisoon erred, both in law and in fact, in concluding, amongst other things, that senior counsel admitted a fraud on the court. That senior counsel admitted a fraud, or committed rather, a fraud on the court. The judge must have taken extraneous matters into account. The judge must have taken extraneous matters into account. Folks, if you're going to learn a new word today, let extraneous be the word. I know we got some bright people. Let us know what the word means. If you're going to learn a word today, let extraneous be it. The judge must have taken extraneous things into account. And he didn't stop there. Of course, Senior Counsel Fraser has appealed. He has appealed the case and says here that we have no doubt that the judgment will be set aside in its entirety and the disparaging remarks expunged from the record. Needless to say, all allegations of fraud and misconduct are vehemently denied. Vehemently denied. Gwyneth Anderson, vehemently denied allegations of fraud. There have been no violation of any code of ethics or otherwise by senior counsel, who has done nothing more than zealously represent his client's interests. And the statement goes on to say, judges are not immune from human frailties. At times, it clouds objectivity. Folks, this is Nigel Hughes responding on behalf of Senior Counsel Fraser. I have a deep appreciation for the latter part. Judges are not immune from human frailties. They are not. And when you go down into jurisprudence and you study realism in law, you get an appreciation for that. Judges are not immune from human frailties. At times, it clouds objectivity. The representative of the senior counsel said, what is strange in this matter, folks, listeners at home and abroad, what is strange in this matter is that senior counsel was not a party. Senior counsel was neither a party to the action, nor was he afforded the opportunity to be heard on any of the issues on which Justice Kissoon proceeded to make adverse findings. He wasn't a party to the matter. As a matter of fact, I think somewhere in the statement here, it says what we all know, that this natural justice right is one fundamental to law. For here, let's tell you, everybody has a right to be heard. Nasa, Mabel Charles, you don't just listen to one side of a story. The judge never asked Stephen Fraser his opinion, but he came to a conclusion, fraud. He came to a conclusion, and he didn't talk to the attorneys yet. It's a strange mechanism. I wonder how old is Justice Sandil Kissoon? I wonder. Is it that we got some of the facts wrong here? That he could make a pronouncement on the conduct of a senior counsel who is not even a party in the matter, that he acted fraudulently and you never even question him, you never even raise the issue with him? As he took chance with Harry said, it's cowboy country. That looked a little strange to me. It looked a little strange to me. But what do I know? I only got the LLB. I only got my pongs. I only got my lemon, lime, and bitters. I don't practice. I only got my law degree catching dust. It looked a little strange to me, and I guess to Hughes, Fields, and Stobie, Nigel Hughes representing Senior Counsel Fraser. You know, Hughes, Fields, and Stobie is like I say it's the best law firm in this country. I was going to say it's like, but it's the best law firm, really and truly. Right? They don't give up like that, you know. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. Tommy Gibbs says it's called due process. I don't know. You know, maybe being the kind of learning, I would be the first to admit that the kind of learning that a Justice Sandal Kisun would have. But this on the face of it, they would say prima facie. On the face of it, this look little thingish. So I'll be looking forward to see what is the outcome. What is the outcome of this one? I can be looking forward to that. Tessa Smith. Tessa said he's a mind reader. Tessa said he's a mind reader. Gil Alicott. Gwyneth Anderson. What's going down here? Tommy wants to know if I'm a barrister. Tommy, I train. I have a LLB, a bachelor's degree in law. I don't practice. See, I gotta go on there and get my legal education certificate now. Yep. So I got a law degree. So my own layman's reading of this is, we like it. We like it. Damn 4 dice. Lachman Aziz. Good to have you, Lachman. Cheryl Mulrain, we see you as well. This one look a little chingish. That aside, we wish Mr. Stephen Fraser the best moving forward in this case. I hope maybe Justice Kisun, Sandil Kisun, overlooked something somewhere. As the attorney representing Senior Counsel Fraser said, you know, judges are not immune to human frailties. They're not immune to human frailties. And at times, it clouds their objectivity. As we on the law, you're going to try to burn down the office. It is alleged. You know, you try to burn down the office. Yesterday, that's what we're picking up on the wires. They say arson is suspected as the arsonists turned their attention yesterday to the office, the private law office, of Anil Nandalal. But the photograph they supplied look a little strange because I thought Anil had the new building in what street is that? I thought he had a new building. I saw him posted on his page and so on. I thought he's over there. This don't look like that fancy building. I thought he had the other building. But it's being reported that Anil Nandalal's office complex or complex of law offices. Somebody don't know we're on air and trying to call. Somebody don't know we're on air and trying to call. Beats me every time. Somebody try to burn the office down. They said the walls of the complex of law offices were scorched. I don't know how the surmise was his office. That was the object of attention there. If it was the arsonist struck. And then the report says there was an attempt on Sunday to burn down the private law office complex owned by A.G. Nandalal. but he was unsure what might be the motive for the attack on the South Road Georgetown building. He was unsure. You see? In his statement, he has two "I don't knows" and one "I'm not sure." He says there are many lawyers that are accommodated in that building. I don't know if it's me or my law firm or any of the lawyers. When asked if he believed he was being targeted, on whether the blaze was politically motivated, he said, I have no evidence of that, but one can't rule out any possibility. Yep, Fire Nation. Fire Nation. And I would love to hear what the Ghana Fire Service would have made out as their report. Two "I don't knows" and one "I'm not sure." But he's not ruling out that being politically motivated. But I thought he'd gone across by the other place, the Middle Street. It's Middle Street. The big place, man, the fancy place they built up the other day. So he says his law office complex, South Road, came under attack. He doesn't know what is the motive. What is the motive? You see? So you don't know the motive. Basil, Leon Harding, Susan Jacobs, he doesn't know the motive. Daphne Aaron, Mary Jane Eden, Samuel, he doesn't know the motive. He says he's not going to rule out it being politically motivated. The possibility it's not been ruled out. You see? Yep. So we're following that. Folks, since these guys have gone in, a lot of big buildings going up. A lot of big buildings. Minister building a fancy house in Region 3. They said, in McDuff, Jack New's mansion, everybody trying to outcompete the other person. A lot of buildings going up in the names of ministers and so on. Quick. And the excuse is always the saving since the barn and selling phone cards. But it's quite something to see all of these buildings and houses going up. Huge houses. And it's always the save. The work and save. Huge houses, huge buildings being leased and subleased and all of that. But everybody above board, everything is okay. You see? They said this guy in Region 3, his place is so big, it has its own private internal transportation system to get around. Because if you walk from the main gate to where the front door is on the property, you could be walking for an hour and a half easily. 20 pounds later, you turn up at the door, short of breath and thirsty. So it has to have its own internal transportation system. These guys going big, They say Papa Jacobot plays so big, he could put on a runway and land any compound. One of these private aircrafts, you see them testing out. He could put on a runway and it won't encumber any other part of the property. It will encumber. And then a lot of luxury vehicles they're buying and renting as well. You see, they're not only regulating, they got skin in the game too. A lot of these PPP jagabats, is corruption on a scale like you cannot imagine. And some of them tell us, if you think Sue was anything, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's the tip of the iceberg where corruption is concerned, and these ferrets. But again, I dare say, on the previous story on that law office, we don't believe in that. You come after people in this kind of a way. We don't believe in that. It's a political struggle we are waging. See? I want the building insured. I wonder. That big other building costs money, Costs money. Where is Sue? I saw a member of parliament, Alice Ferguson, wrote a letter in the press asking the same question. 1 year later, where is Sue? Has he been sued yet? Has he been sued yet? Pack of nonsense. One big bluff. We called it early bluff. Bluff. You could tell me a man with tarnished Jaguar reputation like that, right? And Jaguar just smiling. Say, all right, man, it's all well. It happens in business. And gone. The way Sue just gone off into the sunset, Right? Is Burke there trying to extradite? And Sue? Wide mouth Sue? Lick mouth Sue? Sue just gone into the horizon. Walked off into the sunset. Same Sue. I wonder if Sue got some skin in this ID card business. Why they so hurry with this ID card? Why they so speedy with this ID card business? Huh? Is it the 35, 36 million US dollars? Is it the kickbacks, the kick forwards, the kick sides? Why they in such a hurry on this issue of the ID cards? That's one of the big questions being asked. Why is it? They're telling us the ID cards cost $35.4 million, $36 million. Right? The ID cards must cost $5 million, and we know everything else is for. You and I know. They said this deal was signed on March 10th with this German-based company, Veridos, between Veridos and the government. $36 million, just like that. And they tell us that the card will allow for the issuance of work permits and resident identification through a coordinated approach. It allows for a more coordinated approach, according to them. According to them. They say how the ID cards reach global, it's compliant with global ISO standards and is accepted by international civil aviation authorities for international travel. So I know if you don't need your passport anymore or your national ID card anymore, you just go with this smart card. Internationally accepted. And Irfan would say this, went on to say that it positions Guyana among the top set of nations with one of the most advanced electronic identification cards. What they're looking for here is buy-in. Buy-in. April went on to say that this is another major step taken by his regime to mainstream the use of technology in health, national security, education, and economic improvement. Right now we're in blackout. So when they get blackout, the can still work. When we have blackout, does the car still work? Does it still work? Inquiring minds want to know, does it still work? Folks, in a recent press conference by the Alliance for Change, Kathy Hughes addressed this very issue. And I think her thoughts are shared by the APNU and PNC alike, where it concerns these ID cards. Kathy Hughes has some thoughts on these ID cards and this haste. Not $36 million really thinking them by. Speed, speed, speed. Speed, speed, speed. Let's all focus on here. Speed, speed, speed. Lord have his mercies. Lord have his mercies. And among the concerns is the fact that you had no public consultation on these ID cards. You had no parliamentary scrutiny, no review. The budget was a couple months ago. You didn't hear nothing about ID card. The same way you didn't hear nothing about Palmyra Stadium. They invent projects out of thin air to pump in money to get the kickbacks. Pump in money to get the kickbacks. Here is what Catherine Hughes of the Alliance for Change said in that press conference recently on the issue of these ID cards. Take a look, folks, and take a listen.
Approach to a complex issue. That is, moving our paper-based systems in Guyana into the digital world of the 21st century. This must be based on a clearly articulated policy backed by an action plan or a roadmap that is there for implementation. Neither of these have been presented to the people of Guyana. The ramblings we've heard refer to work permits and immigration issues for the most part, and fail to provide a cohesive e-government approach, which should include plans to implement the following. E-services, which seeks to improve the delivery of government services to citizens through an enabling ICT environment. E-participation, which reduces the digital divide in Guyana between the hinterland poor and remote communities across our 10 regions, and of course, internationally, especially for our diaspora. E-administration, a secure computing environment for the government of Guyana in keeping with industry standards, a whole of government approach with interoperability among government agencies. The recommended approach should also start with broad consultation, where government lays out their holistic e-governance agenda and identifies the key and enabling building blocks for the proposed system. An e-ID should just be one of these building blocks. And other building blocks would include, for example, e-health, e-education, e-agriculture, e-text, e-police, to name a few. Integration with other digital systems, such as our passport issuing and border control, the birth and death registries, are also to be considered. It remains unclear the integration of this e-ID system with GCOM systems, and the opposition's call for the use of biometrics for identification at the place of poll. A national program of this magnitude would need to start off with the digitization of our registries. You will recall the over 100 young ICT proficient Guyanese who were in the process of doing just that when they were fired on the advent of this administration in August 2020. This EID project ideally should form part of modernizing the General Register Office, which is the entity responsible for Guyana's civil registry. GRO's legislation may need to be updated for this level of digital modernization, in addition to a comprehensive suite of other legislations which will be required in addition to data protection and cybersecurity. Many countries have passed legislation regarding data storage and protection, including prohibiting the storage of citizens' data outside of the national territory. Where is government's public articulation of systems and assurances that will guarantee the right of all Guyanese? Our citizens must also have rights like those guaranteed under the EU General Data Protection Regulation at a minimum. They must be able to know which individual or government agency has accessed their personal data and which and for when and for what purpose. The penalties for illegal access to citizens' data should also be highlighted. Given this scope, major fundamental issues have not been addressed in the public domain to date and are totally missing from what should be an intelligent, informative discussion on a national issue. We in the AFC feel that this is not just coincidence, but a deliberate attempt by the PPP not to be transparent, as is their modus operandi. There has been no public information program to inform, educate, and engender trust in such a system targeted to the people of Guyana, which will require access to one's most private personal data. This project also did not come to the Parliament for the requisite discussion and scrutiny. These omissions are all too glaring to be accidental, and therefore we can only conclude that this is a disdain with which this government holds its citizens, which it is supposed to serve. Thank you.
Yep, there you have it. There you have it. And this has some very interesting components to it. This whole issue here got some very interesting components. You heard Kathy says that the GRO's office, the General Registrar's office, would have a part to play here. They would have a part to play here. Recently, GCOM Commissioner Vincent Alexander said the commission had not been informed. Had not been informed about the rollout of any new ID cards. Can you imagine that? So all of these entities and agencies on an issue like this should be working together. The right hand should know what the left hand do it. The right hand should know what the left hand doing. But here is Alexander saying that we don't know what's happening here. That's what he said. That is what he said. He said that GCOM has not been brought into the picture. His exact words. It had not been brought into the picture. I'm saying picture like the Chinese. The picture. They had not been brought into the picture. As a matter of fact, he said that GCOM has the jurisdiction by law for ID cards. GCOM. But yet, and he would know, I'm certain he attends all the meetings. He said GCOM is not in the picture, Marlon Lorimer, on the ID cards. I tell you, the rigging done start, you know. Again, this is only 2020. I want to know if these things don't trouble Ambassador Sarah Lynch when she talks to Washington. She come and know what happening. They're not in the pictures yet, you see. They're not in the picture. But money done pay, 35 million US. Done pay. And he come in none the wiser. He come in the dark. That is what the commissioner said. I know if Uncle Vincent says so, I believe him. If he say it is so, I believe him. They're not in the picture, they've not been consulted, I believe him. If he said it is so. Right? GCOM, it is said, legally, they have the purview. Should GCOM be buying the ID cards? Maybe that's how it should be working. Maybe GCOM, in its own deliberate judgment, should be operating as the point person here. Because Alexander tells us that it is GCOM that has the purview under the National Registration Act. It is GCOM. But GCOM know what's happening. And this is similar to when they started to gerrymander the boundaries, Pamela Dover. GCOM didn't know what's happening. When they started to gerrymander the boundaries. And now ID cards buying. ID cards are being bought. And GCOM don't know. These cards are smart. They got GCOM in the dark. GCOM don't know what's going on. But what is more startling to me, all that this installed regime believes in these smart cards. Remember them saying this can be, they can put them up there with other countries who got smart cards and so on. They say this cards are smart. The only thing you can do is make a cup of coffee. But this smart card is going to put them right up there. If they like smart cards so bad, how come they're fighting the biodata where voting is concerned? How come they are shunning, they're eschewing using biodata to vote? They say this card can get your blood sample. You can get your cholesterol sample. You can get a stool sample. How this card is so smart. And all of that information can be produced like that. You can know your pressure. You can know your sugar, your diabetes, your heart ailments. It's going to know all of that. How it's so smart. But apparently it isn't smart enough for biodata. 36 million US dollars. $36 million US dollars with a capital mill. Yep. Tell you all. From the gerrymandering of the boundaries to benefit themselves electorally, to issues like the ID cards, to the dirty stinking voters lists. The rigging has begun. And some of us gonna wait too long and too late for tech lamp sick, nighttime, and guard ballot boxes. But you didn't know it's 2 years earlier the thing done rig. 2 years earlier, the system was rigged. Carlton Murray, Andrew Griffith, Isabella Butters, 2 years earlier. And you got flashlight. Sit down by your poll and please say, hey, I'm watching them boys. I'm watching them boys. Learn to come around with funny. You in front of the polling station. And them boys watching you laughing. That's why we gotta speak up now. You gotta voice your concern now. And some of you working in the belly of the beast. The belly of the beast. Seeing the wrongdoings and the infractions. Now is the time to speak up. Because by the time you get to the polling place to correct some things, both gonna fall. Both gonna fall. You remember we saw a polling station in Sophia in which 60 or 70 votes were disqualified in the recount, and then when they recounted these votes were valid, they said, oh, the returning officer, the young man. Right? Like if you don't get trained in GCOM, you just walk off the road and go and start counting votes. Oh, she young. She make a mistake and void 70 votes. Yep. But we're going to continue to watch it. We are going to continue to watch it, folks. We're going to continue to watch and speak up, speak out, and be strong on these issues. That's what we're covering today, folks. And as I said this morning, you're going to want to join the broadcast tonight because we're talking about some of what we're talking and some of what we're discussing is Councillor Elton McCray and what he went through. What he went through there, being assaulted quite recently. We're going to be talking about some of that. It's not easy, but you got to pursue the truth. We got to pursue the truth, folks. Wherever it leads, it is not easy at all. But we got to pursue the truth. And he has been very vocal in a number of shortcomings of the councils, a number of the council he sits on in the Triumph BV area there. Right? And it is what it is. You got to continue to speak up and speak out. Regardless, he was assaulted last Friday. We're going to continue to do what we got to do. We're going to hear from him tonight, folks. We're going to hear from him this evening. We're going to hear from him this evening. We will hear from him this evening, folks. But as I told you this morning, with me on the ground was Darren Wade, attorney at law Wade. And he is fighting so many battles. So many battles for us. And Darren took some time to speak with us on this issue of Council Elton McCray's assault. And this is what he told us.
This morning, in solidarity with Councillor McCray, for about a year or so now, I'm on the ground here in BV. I'm working and acquainting myself with this matter. It saddens me that the council that was voted in by the people of BV decided to fraudulently sell the land. The land was sold fraudulently. This for me is a terrible development. Mr. McCray who was one of the persons who had been very outspoken, was only attacked yesterday to stand up for what is right. So I think it's important for us not to stand idle by, but to stand with Councillor McCrae and all the others here in BV who has been challenging the unlawful actions of the council. You know, this type of behavior is not acceptable. You cannot rob your own people. A matter of fact, you cannot rob anyone. We all are aware that within the African community, land justice is an issue. This is a council that was elected by APN council that was elected. A council that was voted by the people of BV, and they have acted improperly on several occasions. And this matter needs to be addressed. And it saddens me to see one of the persons who are outspoken being attacked, being beaten up. He's an elderly man. Why would you come and beat up an elderly man? To intimidate him? I came here before on several occasions. We met with the villagers, we discussed this issue and so forth. So this is known in the entire country. We recently concerning some lands in the some lands in the backlands, where Justice Gina Prasad there the other day, that was sold to John Fernandez, and then he transferred some rights, some purported rights, to some Mohammedan son. This is unacceptable. Fraud is unacceptable. I believe even if they want to sell the land, they decided to sell some lands in the village. And so why is the land belongs to the villagers? Because these are ancestral land. Then the villagers should be given an opportunity to buy these lands. And these lands should have been sold in a fair manner, a fair and transparent manner. You don't sell to you, your brother, your sister, your uncle, and everybody. This is wrong. And I must call it out. I will speak to the leader of the party and ensure none of these corrupt councillors be able to go back on conversation and they put their hands up to go there, because they embarrassed the party. They embarrassed all of us. This is unacceptable.
You heard it there, folks. And we're going to hear from Councillor McCrae himself tonight. On tonight's broadcast, you're going to hear from Councillor McCrae himself. And those events that led to him being assaulted, he's going to talk to us about the assault he endured and who he think is behind it and why. And why. So guys, we're going to see you right back here this evening. That's it. At our end, good folks. That's we time. That's we program. Thanks for joining us. Each and every one of you. Gwyneth Anderson, Beryl Crawford, Barbara Ralph, Pamela Dover, Karen Giddens, Mary Jane Eden, Isabella Butters, Janice Booker. Good to have you guys on the live today. Share the live before you go. Smash that emoji button as well. And don't forget, folks, it's because of your love and your generosity we can keep moving forward. But first, you got a story for me? 627-6963. 627. Don't keep all the juicy things for yourself, you know. Share your stories with us. 627-6963. And partner with us as well, folks, and we can keep moving on. Pace and power. We got some advertising space as well right here. 627-6963. Right in that spot. Hundreds of people watching us each and every show. Your product, your service, your business, your event is sure to get noticed. And folks, partner with us as well. Your love and your generosity, folks, keeps us, fuels us and keeps us going. We're available via Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MMG MoneyGram, and Western Union as well. Thanks for joining us. That's going to do it for us on this edition of our podcast, Below the Belt. Who vex lows. Guys, we're going to see you guys right back here this evening. We're going to see you folks right back here this evening. Stay safe, stay woke, stay vigilant out there. And remember, slow down, and live a rival life. That's our time and that's our program. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. We love each and every one of you. Stay safe.